Welcome, Ekabo. Sanu Dazuwa. No, I remembered my mother's tongue today. No, yes, welcome to the show where conversations are real. We keep it real here, and I decided to start differently today by welcoming you on our major 3 local dialects. Being an African Day today, we're celebrating African Day, so I had to welcome those who are watching us or listening to us right now. And of course, my name remains Kike Lomatondawa, and I think my co-host may want to add more languages to the flow of this lovely afternoon. Let me start with Marshall. Marshall, my house husband, how you doing? This is the first day that you're not picking any of my colors. Then I'm hungry with you. I'm so sorry, my darling. In my spirit.
You didn't call me. You know, you used to call me to tell me.
I don't call you. We work in the spirit.
Welcome, guys. I want to say something as well, like she has said. And also, Akwaba in Ghana. You know, they say Akwaba, welcome. So let's not forget our Ghanaian brothers, because we're so neatly close with them. You know, welcome to the show. It's the Real Talk with Kike Lomo Atonda Owo Orukomini.
Okay, so okay, I'm going to take it and I'll say bonjour to everybody who's watching today, and je m'appelle Dame Lola Banire. It's a great time to be here again today. I hope that we're picking and keeping it safe.
Tu veux parler français?
So en français, from jumping to each other, collaborating.
Yes. All right, nice. That is when we have to take a quick message from. Let's listen to Today in History. Please stay with us.
All right.
This day in history, exactly 12 years ago, on May 25, 2009, in Nigeria, militants sabotaged major crude pipelines in the chaotic oil region, further trimming crude production as the military widened an operation to uproot the fighters. Chevron in Nigeria reported a 100 barrel per day oil output cut after a militant attack the day before on one of its pipelines in the southern Delta state. The militants said they had released 3 Filipino hostages seized in the same month.
All right, welcome back on this day in history. Marshall, gosh, what do you have to say to that?
Militancy and attack. You know, when people talk about banditry and the insurgency in the north and the row between the north and south right now, and then you hear people say, oh, it didn't start with the north, it didn't, terrorism and banditry didn't start, and they make reference to militancy. It breaks my heart, because I know that they weren't actually, the militants, this Niger Delta militants weren't actually fighting the same cause these guys are currently fighting. But it's good to know that there seems to be a stem in the tide of the militancy in the south.
At least over the time it's reduced.
So Dami, what do you make of it?
Well, I think I would say that everything has been based on greed. It's just been great, because Shell is saying, Chevron is saying, ExxonMobil is saying that they actually make provisions for these Niger Delta people. Then sometimes we wonder, okay, why are there still chaos? Why are we still having chaotic situations? Then sometimes you're hearing news that it's their leaders who are sat upon the monies that everybody should share. We know that these people, what they're agitating for, yes, might be a good cause done in a wrong way. So to every leader that has been a part of that chaotic situation, it's not as if you people will eventually rest well, permit me to say, if you do not tidy your home front. I mean, charity begins at home. This thing has been ongoing for so long, and about 2 weeks ago or so, was it Chevron or Shell? They said they wanted to leave Nigeria. So they've gotten to their wits. So how do you explain that you've come to do business in the country for a good number of years and you really cannot bring out anything good from it? And our chiefs are there in the Niger Delta, they are sharing the money, their envelope is going in, paper is going out.
All right, just to add to what you've just said, I think that's the more reason why you see the likes of Dangote saying that he wants to go and open an office in New York, because there's no investment coming in, and when they come in, who's protecting what they are bringing in? And it's sad that we are just our selfish interests have dominated other people. We thinking of other people when it comes to putting them first in taking submissions in everything that we do. So on that note, I think it's important for us to take a quick message from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
People they ask me, say, where did they make me smile? I tell them people say how I love plenty, just like 1,000 smiles.
Waiting for 7 months was far too long. Echo Hotels and Suites is back with the same passion to take care of me in the same good old way, and even better.
It's been a long time, sir.
Far too long. To make up for all the time they were truly missed.
The new look Amstel Malta, and introducing new Amstel Malta Ultra, the first ever no added sugar malt. Both made from the best quality ingredients, have a world-class name, and are good for you. Amstel Malta and new Amstel Malta Ultra with no added sugar. Be your best.
Many thanks for staying with us. Of course, last week there was a face-off between the Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami and the states who wish to implement anti-open gazing laws. However, the Federal High Court came to the rescue and weakened the position of the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, who has earlier described the ban on open gazing as unconstitutional. So according to the court's judgment, states have the right to implement anti-open gazing laws. At the weekend, Southwest APC leaders backed the position of Southern governors on open gazing. They rejected agitations. They discussed restructuring and renewed calls for true federalism. This seems like a reoccurrence in the nation's policy, and here we are again discussing it year in, year out. You know, it seems as if we're just going in circles. But today we have taken a critical look at restructuring and the anti-open gazing bill in Nigeria. And our guest is the Senator or the Senate Committee Chairman on the Media and Public Affairs, Senator Ajibola Bashiru. Many thanks for joining us today, sir. All right, I think it's important for us to quickly take a quick look at his profile. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Our guest serves under the former governor of Osun State, Rauf Aregbesola, as Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. Nice to have you on the program today, sir. Many thanks for creating time to be with us. Let me start by saying that I'm so glad to have you on the show today, in all honesty, you know, and I'm quite proud of your personal works at the Night Senate and your collective work with your lawmakers of our country, which is something that I must give kudos to you. But, sir, the first thing that I would like to ask you, according to you, based on some of the research that I made, you said restructuring the devolution of powers, state policing, and economic productivity are some of the key solutions to ethnic agitation in Nigeria. So kindly enlighten Nigerians on how that solves our issue for our present day in Nigeria today. Did you hear that, sir?
Good afternoon to Nigerians over there. I think you mentioned my affiliation with my leader, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. Incidentally, I'm appearing today. It's actually his 64th birthday. So if I will not be charged by your authorities, I say happy birthday to my leader, my mentor, my benefactor, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. And some of the issues I'll be mentioning here is part of what I learned under his tutelage and that of my other leaders like Baba Bisla Konde and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, talking about Nigeria and the issue of restructuring and where we're going, the starting point would be to say that the primary purpose of government is provided in Section 14 of our Constitution and is clearly stated to be security and welfare of the people. Without talking like a politician, I say with all sense of responsibility that we are presently challenged as a government, and I'm saying it as somebody who is also a member of the upper legislative chamber in Nigeria. We are challenged in the area of security. We are also challenged in the area of provision of welfare. And of course, there is no society where there is no challenge or challenges, but then we must look at how do we tackle these challenges. One of the propositions that have been put forward in tackling these challenges has to do with the structure of our governance, the nature of our constitution, and the need for us to begin to address this. And this discussion is particularly apposite that the Senate will be having its public hearings at all zonal centers in Nigeria tomorrow and the day after across the country. And what are the contending issues? At the inception of our country, our founding fathers in various conferences in London, Lancaster, and elsewhere opted for federal system of government. And that was reflective in the 1960 and 1963 Constitution. However, by the time the military struck, January 15, 1966, there was a reversal to unitary system. Even though the Constitution in 1979 and of course the interim Constitution of 1989 and now the 1999 Constitution profess Nigeria to be Federal Republic of Nigeria, the truth is that looking at the structure of governance, look at the enormity of over-centralization, we cannot really say that we are having a Federal Republic of Nigeria. Rather, we have a unitary system parading as a federal system of government. And this can be looked at from various parameters. One, the legislative list, which is coterminous with executive powers of the federation, is so skewed in favor of the federal government. Secondly, the balkanization of our states to become Taisi states with the FCT has also weakened the capacity of even these states to govern effectively, not to talk of serving as a coordinate federating unit as expected in the federation. Also, in terms of revenue, accessibility and allocation, a situation whereby a branch, an arm of government is taking about 52 or 56% and leaving the remaining 36 states and FCT to share about 26, which means that no state actually has up to 8% in terms of what is done. And many of the subject matter that could have been revenue generations have been centralized in the federal government, like for instance, solid minerals and even the issue of copyright and many other subject matters. So the political tendencies that I belong to, and I say it outside responsibility, believe that restructuring should be almost in deliverable as a government. And our party, the APC, set up a committee headed by the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. It has also made far-reaching resolutions and decisions and recommendations on decentralization, on restructuring, and the devolution of power. And I believe this is part of what is being considered at the recent exercise as constitutional amendment at the Senate at the level. I'm a member of the Constitutional Review Committee of the Senate. I represent my state of Osun there. And I know that 4 subcommittees were set up, one of each refute the El-Rufai committee report on restructuring and devolution of power. Another committee also reviewed that of 2014 constitutional amendment, and also this other constitutional amendment effort, as well as existing bills from members on the issue of review of constitution.
Sir, many thanks for that submission. Listening to you, sir, I cannot help but ask this. Chief Olusegun Oshoba shares the same opinion with you in terms of devolution of powers and restructuring. That gives the southern governors some form of vested power to make decisions without the federal consent in the state. So can we say that this is what the northern governor and the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, are antagonizing about?
Yes. No, I can't say that the northern governors have made a position contrary to what I'm saying. And of course, since I made reference to a committee chaired by Governor Nasir El-Rufai, and I think he's a northern governor, and they're presiding over that committee, came up with a very beautiful recommendations, which is before our committee at the Senate level on issue of recommendation. But talking about the Attorney General of the Federation, I've expressed my displeasure as to his position, talking about equating axemen and spare part dealers in northern part of the country. He could come up with a better argument and contention in support of his position on the issue of ban on open grazing, but to be making example of orange with apple is inapposite and also insensitive to those people who have been at the receiving end of inauspicious and atrocious attitude of some criminal-minded axemen. Killing animal is not something extremely unique. It is animal husbandry, and I think it is high time our country look at a modern way of doing this very important part of agriculture, and that is why our leaders meeting in Marina on Sunday are able to come up with a position on the need to support ranching and modern animal husbandry methodology as a way to resolve this problem, rather than take an ethnic egoistic approach that some people whom we expect to be very conscious of that.
Sir. Senator Ajibola, I'd like to know, because you have mentioned that we are lagging behind in some of our governance scheme, and of course we are not having it very well, and we're talking about restructuring. Has there been any sitting to say that the last administration of Jonathan's confabulation implementation will be put to place?
Of course, there was the 2014 implementation. I must say, first and foremost, we politicians have a way of playing, blame game. And that is why I must first mention that comments from some elements in the opposition party, PDP, now talking about restructuring is just self-seeking and passing the buck. The conference concluded more than a year before the election of 2015. One would have expected that if genuinely that political party was concerned, as being expressed now, about issue of restructuring, they should have pushed those things forward to the National Assembly, dominated, as it were, by their political party. But be that as it may, I was a member of a subcommittee headed by my leader, former governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, that reviewed the 2014 confab report and we have come up with our own distillation of relevant recommendations that is now being used as part of what we use to engage the Nigerian people at the various SONA public hearing holding on Wednesday and Thursday, that is tomorrow and the Thursday of this week.
Sir, I would really like to know why we've not seen emphatically the honorable members of the National Assembly sitting to make a resolution on open grazing. We've seen the northern governors, we know their stands. We've seen the southern governors, we know their stands on anti-grazing. They're on anti-grazing. What is the stand of the National Assembly, members of the National, senators like you, on open grazing?
You see, you must make a distinction between personal opinion of individual legislators. You must also make a distinction of the opinion of the individual constituencies where the legislators come from. Then you must now make a distinction between the amalgamation of the totality of position of the National Assembly. I'll tell you, for instance, I'm a senator representing Osun Central Senatorial District. As a patriot, as a Nigerian, I have my personal opinion. As a senator representing a people, my people, particularly the leadership of my constituency, also have an opinion, which of course I must reflect. Then when we get to the National Assembly, it will be an aggregation of all opinion. Of course, the individual senators have expressed their own opinion. And I think when you talk of resolution of the National Assembly, it is more of persuasive and advisory nature. The way National Assembly operates is through lawmaking. And I've contended at 2 occasions before the National Assembly that even the National Assembly has no power in relation to agriculture beyond research and planning and projects relating to commercial agriculture. But because of the tendency to over-centralize, every subject matter under the Act is now put under the purview of the National Assembly and ipso facto the executive power of the executive. Because when you look at the combined reading of section 4 and 5 of the Constitution, the executive power of the president should mirror the extent of the legislative competence of the National Assembly. So I will say that it's not really issue about agriculture. Issue about grazing really matters within the competence of the state authorities and not that of the federal authority. If there will be any support at all, it will be the area of research and planning and possibly making special funding for each state to look at what is best for it in terms of how to organize animal husbandry, fishery, and other forms of agriculture.
Thanks for that submission, sir. Before I ask you the next question, let me use this opportunity to open our phone lines. You can call us on 080-988-77400. And remember, you can be part of this conversation by joining us live on YouTube. We are streaming live on YouTube, on Real Talk with Kike, and then, of course, on Silverbird YouTube page. Sir, I must ask you, as a reputable legal expert and lawmaker at the Senate, you once said, based on the research that I made, that the Constitution we use since 1999 does not hold waters for our diversity and peculiarities. So I'm sure other lawmakers share same opinion with you. So, sir, what is the progress made thus far in making this restructuring come to life or come to work?
Kike, as I said, tomorrow and Thursday, there will be solar public hearing. Okay. I want to enjoin Nigerians to actively take part in the zonal hearing holding across the country.
Okay.
And I will also say that at independence, the founding fathers of this country consciously selected federalism as a form of government. But looking at the existing constitutional structure, the existing state structure, it is far from that goal of federalism. But it is not for us to just lament, we must take action. And that is why when you look at the advertisement made by the Senate Committee on Constitutional Review, devolution of power, restructuring, revenue allocation, citizenship, and so many other germane issues were listed as areas that we had received memoranda, and we're also expecting Nigerians to contribute at the zonal hearing. And of course, we want Nigerians to take active step. Constitution making is not an elitist thing; it's a political process that must carry along all stakeholders. So we believe that the National Assembly, as a result of the people, must throw this thing open, and that is why we are going for the zonal hearings tomorrow and on Thursday.
All right, many thanks on that, Dami.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to ask that as a senator representing the Osun Central Senatorial District, under the ruling party of APC, do you sincerely think that in the 2023 elections, the APC has a chance, considering so much agitations and chaos that we have gone through in the hands of this current administration?
I'm not a prophet. I'm a politician. I don't have power of clairvoyance, but I know the party to beat in the 2023 election is the APC, and contrary to the noise of the minority opposition parties, the party is strongly on ground. And when you see the gains that the party has made in the political area in terms of more membership in the National Assembly, I think the only party that people have been defecting to in National Assembly is the APC. Even the governors, the rank of the party in governors is also swelling. But beyond this, beyond the challenge that we have in security, which we are confronting head on, I will say that the country has made quantum leap under the present administration and government of our party. And I will give a concrete example in this regard. In the area of social intervention, more than ever before in the issue of this country, this is a government that has taken the question of the welfare of the vulnerable to be paramount of paramount interest in governance. And look at the trader money, look at the Empower, look at the public, 774,000 public works, look at the intervention in the area of registration of local businesses, and of course, support to farmers and anchor borrowers holding, which is being done by the CBN. So in terms of direct intervention in favor of the economically vulnerable people in the society, you can look at also the insulation of the low paid workers from taxation, which was done under the Finance Act of the National Assembly, and even the value-added tax. All businesses that their turnover is less than 25 million were insulated from the value-added tax, and only businesses capable and competent and people who consume luxury goods are made amenable to the increased value-added tax of 7.5 regime. Also in the area of infrastructure, as we are now, the second Niger Bridge is at an advanced stage of completion, and work on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is also on advanced stage. So when it comes to infrastructure development, railway system have become moribund, have become more like a mirage before the advent of this administration. So I will say that come 2023, we have so much to campaign with. Yes, we are faced with certain challenges. We are not resting our hands to combat these challenges, and I'm optimistic that we will win the 2023 election.
When you say social intervention and giving a thumbs up to this administration, it begs my mind for questions or answers, because you say social intervention and saying that this government has done a lot to, impact the people in that area, yet you find the cost of food prices and the market going up, yet you find the cost of the petrol price, pump price of PMS going up, you find the indices to say Nigeria is still under a recession or just slightly coming out of a recession, and then you say the government has done well in social intervention. It begs my mind for questions.
We have done very well in the area of social intervention. You just imagine, I'll first contextualize what you have said in the context of global dynamics of what has happened to all of us, and we are still combating in terms of COVID, the COVID pandemic. Of course, the COVID pandemic affected all the countries all over the world, including the big economies like the United States of America. If you go and assess the economies of this country, and you put on a comparative basis, you will say that the country has fared better, and it's because we are lucky to have a purposeful and a government in place. So one, you also know that the COVID intervention had negative effect on the economy, one in the area of our revenue. Last year, at some point, the revenue from crude oil depleted up to about $19 per barrel. And of course, this also will affect whatever parameters you are put in place. Of course, it put a lot of pressure on our currency, Naira, and because we are till now import dependent, the price of commodities will also have to be reflective on the challenge
how has that put a pressure?
Is facing.
Sir,
so you have to domesticate.
How has that put a pressure?
Our intervention.
Very quickly, sir.
We have to.
Very quickly, sir, how has that put a pressure on the take-home allowances and the salaries of senators like yourself? How has the COVID-19 pandemic put a pressure on your take-home pay?
Of course, if I earn 800,000 in January 2020 and I earn the same amount in June or May 2021, it has put effect because of the devaluation of the currency and of course because of the inflation. So it affects everybody across the board. I wouldn't want to go to the base issue of nobody's salaries and allowances and actually in return been affected adversely in terms of actual amendment or change. But in terms of real value, all of us equally, whether you are rich or you are poor, whether you are affluent or you are the billionaire, you are affected by the dynamics of the change in the global economy, negatively affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
All right, many thanks again for that submission, sir. You know, let me bring you back to transparency, and this leads to the next question, because according to the Senate sitting on the livestock database bill in our country, you know, you argue that no portion of the Constitution gives the National Assembly the power to legislate on livestock, knowing well that it will ensure protection, protection, control, and management of livestock, and also traceability of registration and cattle. You know, so I must ask you, sir, why that opposition, especially knowing that we've been clamoring for database for a while, we've been clamoring for, you know, transparency and accountability. What do you have to say to this opposition, sir?
You see, just as I said, you see, when I was making my submission for the National Assembly,
yes, sir,
I never said that the objectives of livestock identification and management are not desirable, which is the argument you are putting forward there, Kike. Yeah. My argument is that which appropriate level of government have the virus, the power, the competence to do so. And I say that by own reading of the Nigerian Constitution, say the issue of livestock management and general power on agriculture is a reciprocal matter which has been vested by the Constitution in Section 4, Section 7 in the State Assembly. So I wouldn't say, I'm not saying there should not be livestock identification and management legislation. I would not say there should not be policy along that line. But what I canvass at the level of the Senate is that it is the State Houses of Assembly that have the competence, because they are residual matter not expressly listed in the exclusive legislative list, not also included on the concurrent legislative list, and ipso facto by Section 4, Section 7 of the Constitution, and the authority of the Supreme Court case in Attorney General of Lagos State and Attorney General of Federation, which is reported in Part 833 of the Nigerian Law Report. It is the State Assembly that has power to deal with livestock management, identification, and therefore the fact that it is desirable does not mean that National Assembly can just make law without necessary constitutional power.
All right, Dami.
Okay, sir, I would want to ask you, you have a degree in secured credit transactions planning and compulsory acquisition. So with this expanse of knowledge, Nigeria is still in some kind of hole dealing with recession. If we have people like you who has gone through to study, to have degrees in such courses, why are we not taking the right channel, sir?
I would agree. You made an assumption that we are not making the right channel. I don't agree with your assumption. We are challenged like every other country with global economic challenge occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. But I say that at the level of the National Assembly, Each of us with different and diverse background are put in different committees where our expertise and knowledge has come to use. Aside being the spokesperson of the Senate and chairman of Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, I'm also a member of the petroleum upstream and downstream sector. I'm also a member of the Air Force. I'm also a member of the Judiciary and Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee of the Senate. So in all these committees, at the bulk of our knowledge, our background and expertise, and of course I've served as an Attorney General, and at the list of standing immodest, I have a PhD writing my thesis on secure finance and the transaction from the state of Lagos. This knowledge are not wasted. They are part of what goes into our debates, into deliberations, and into our contributions at various meetings at level of committee and interface with the executive. And I just say, there's no society that's not challenge. The challenge of us as human beings is that we must confront those challenges with altruism, with commitment, and with dedication to find solutions. Because we are sworn to uphold the Constitution, we are sworn to see what we can do to the betterment of our people.
It's good to know your stance on the anti-grazing decision by the South-South governors. But my take would be, on a personal note from you, what is your stance looking at what is stemming from the presidency and also the Minister of Information regarding the resolution of the South-South governors on the anti-grazing ban? Recently, we also heard the presidency saying that they're questioning the legality of the resolution of the South-South governors. Your own personal take on what the presidency's stance is?
You see, the beauty of democracy is that there's plurality of opinion. The Southern governors have expressed their position, and I'm happy to say that my leaders in the southwest part of the country at the meeting held in Marina have endorsed that resolution. I also endorse that position. Ultimately, I want the Southern governors to task their fellow Attorney Generals and State Assembly to make relevant laws, because the Constitution allows them to make laws in relation to agriculture. Section 1 of the Land Use Act, first, the management of land in this and ownership of land in the states, in the governors. So I want the governors to go ahead and implement. And if the federal government and its Attorney General feel strongly about it, the Supreme Court has original jurisdiction to determine whether the position of the Southern governors and any law they will subsequently make in that regard is legal or not. So it's not the question of just issuing a press statement or debate on national television. There are legal issues, and we have very robust challenge on legality and constitutionality of powers. I think this had been pioneered by our leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was governor of Lagos. Series of litigations are challenging the legality and exercise of power by the federal government, and quite a number of them have been successful, and judgment given in favor of the state government. Even in the Second Republic, we have the case of Attorney General Bende and Attorney General of the Federation on the issue of legality of state tax law. So the essence of democracy is that there is plurality, and ultimate arbiter in the plurality of those opinions is our court. And the Supreme Court is eminently qualified and empowered by the Constitution to make just adjudication.
This will be our last question to you. Going forward to 2023, it is important for us to know the direction of the Senate and what the collective hope to achieve before the election. Because with all the things you've been talking thus far, you've been shedding light on, it's important for you to speak on behalf of the Senate. What is the way forward for 2023?
I think the Senate, in terms of the electoral contest, the Senate is working very hard to ensure that before we go on recess this year, we are able to finalize work on the Electoral Act, so that the rules of electing and putting leadership will be clearly put in place. We are also ensuring that we will work together with the executives to improve security situation. Without adequate security, we cannot be talking of an electoral process that is free and fair. And of course, we'll continue to work with the executive to ensure that the revenue base of the country is expanded and social services are delivered such that the people will have the cause to believe that they must participate in the political process and enhance the value of governance that we have in the country. And of course, the Senate, just like Nigeria, is heterogeneous. We have different political parties. Even within the same political party, there are different political tendencies. And the essence of democracy is contestation of ideas and contestation for power. But that must be done within the ambit of the law and what is fair, decent, and acceptable in all standards of a good society.
Thanks for coming on the show today, side. So we're so excited to have a dignifying, edifying personality of yours to spend your lunchtime with us today, and we hope that all you've said thus far to be put to practice, and we will see a lot of changes in our reforms and laws, especially when it comes to 2023 election. Again, many thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll use this opportunity to quickly go on a quick break and get a message from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
People they ask me, say, where did they make me smile? I tell them people say, how I love plenty, just like 1,000 smiles.
Waiting for 7 months was far too long. Echo Hotels and Suites is back with the same passion to take care of me in the same good old way, and even better.
It's been a long time, sir.
Far too long.
To make up for all the time they were truly missed.
The new look Amstel Malta, and introducing new Amstel Malta Ultra, the first ever no added sugar malt. Both made from the best quality ingredients, have a world-class name, and are good for you. Amstel Malta and new Amstel Malta Ultra with no added sugar. Be your best.
All right, welcome back. For those who are just joining us, you've missed a great deal. We're talking about restructuring and the open gazing, what's it called now? Ban, you know, and it's sad. I wish that we're not here talking about all of this or deliberating about it, but it is what it is. We have to keep lending our voices. I know that we have challenges about some of the things they have shared, but like we all know,
this our challenge is living challenge. It's going to a war road already, because this thing is getting deeper than we even think it is.
All right, Dami, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. So let's discuss what affects us all. Unfortunately, we could not get our guest to join us. I think I actually forgot to chip that in before we let him out, but it's something that's worth deliberating amongst us. You know, your voices too have to be heard. So, and one of the first topic that caught our attention is the INEC office, which every week, with unknown gunmen making away with valuable items and destroying properties. The latest one was the one that happened in Anambra State. I think Akwa to be precise. Oka to be precise. You know, yeah, from that side. What's your submission on this?
I'm from every side.
But you're closer.
Well, I've heard some school of thought say, look, these things are like you have the protest. When you have an anti-government protest, you also have a pro-government protesting group that will come to, you know, disperse the anti-government protest. We've had one school of thought say, look, this thing is being planned by a section of the government so that, not me now, so that in 2023 you would hear we cannot have the elections because of this and that. And INEC has that yesterday is already saying, look, we've lost so many materials, you know, for Anambra State election. It's a sad one, and I do not think that it should continue that way. I mean, this is just protesters or arsonists going into INEC building and burning these buildings down. When you know that INEC building is likely going to be attacked, why don't you beef up the security in these buildings, in these facilities? Are they Boko Haram? Are they bandits? What are we talking about here, Kike?
Dami, what's your submission?
I'm laughing at you because you want us to beef up security around the INEC office, but they have not beefed up security around our lives. No, you don't understand. Some of these things, I personally believe that they are orchestrated from inside. Yes, it's an insider who knows how to open the door that would explain the entrance to the outsider. So let's go with leave all this analysis and this English that we are speaking. The cockroach that is chopping vegetable is with the vegetable. Let's leave it like that. They know.
All right. So you know the agitation of
the vegetable is in the hand in the highest legislation.
Sorry to interrupt you.
You know, the agitation of our brothers is well understood, you know, because the handwriting is clear on the wall, and we keep hiding under the likes of unknown gunmen. Who are these unknown gunmen? The attack on INEC office is deliberate, and we all know that. And that attack is on electoral system. You know, like you said, you know, they've said, oh, they're attacking us. This is going to affect 2023. Are we not using our brain? This is an attack in our democratic process, and that is a clear enmity and attack for the power for every Nigerian out there. And I hope that the everyday Nigerians, you know, they can just actually sit down and think about all that they are doing just to understand that the right to good governance lies in our hands, in each of our hands. So whatever thing you do with your voter's card, whatever thing you do with the electoral process, whatever thing you do when it comes to INEC office or all the necessary democratic process that we are today attacking, is all we are still attacking ourselves. So they should, you know, be wary of all the implication of what they are doing, which are the youth. You know, if the agitation for power, the electoral process will get us where we are today, or them where they are today, you know, it will help a lot of things that we are going through. But is it for fair and for us to be fair in terms of representation when it comes to the Senate? The answer is no. The voters card and the INEC office itself will ensure that the representative out there do not get what we need, what we are craving for. And I think I want to tailor it back to education. I'm sorry to say this, you know, we keep talking about insecurity, we keep talking about banditry, we keep talking about infrastructure facility, but when the people are well educated, you know, it will bring out positive productivity from them. It will make them use their time properly. And especially when it comes to the federal government, even is another thing for you to provide education, but another thing for them to even finish school and have a job waiting for them. So when you do not have a job waiting for you, you expect the people, you expect the youth, you expect more from the youth, but you're not also ready to know. It's just a sad country. Sometimes I wonder why I'm Nigerian.
It was actually one of my questions for the senator who left. Like, research has it that the current 2021 education budget is the lowest in 10 years that we have. Then how do you want people to get enlightened? It just shows that, like our people will say, what you don't want a child to see at the end of the day, you would eventually lose it. You don't want to teach us the system. You don't want to take them to these same people that you are using to burn down. Do not even understand the importance of the facility they are burning.
All right, many thanks for that submission, Dami. You know, the second story that caught our attention is that of the Nigerians, you know, that of the Army Chief of Staff who we lost. Nigerians are reacting to the absence of the President at the Army Chief of Staff funeral, describing it as a nonchalant attitude from a sitting president. You know, there are quite a number of emotions here and there in the last 3 days when people have been giving different analysis on how the presidency should have been there. Dami, let me start with you. What's your analysis on that?
I think like it was so uncalled for. I would say that being the commander of the chief of staff, worry. It's painful, it's pitiable. I don't have the exact words to reel it out right now, but I will say that we know what we are doing. We know, because sometimes when we hear stories like this, you're like, I saw the one for the last I think the Russian president Putin, something in the rain stand. There was a picture he stood in the rain, not even for his chief of army staff now. just for one of the fallen soldiers, and he was there under the rain. It begs me to ask that, is it true that we truly have this same compassionate Buhari that we voted for right in that office? Is it true that this man is also the same general that governed or that generaled on these men that died? There's so many questions just raging in my head. I'm like, how exactly do we place it?
It's really, really sad. If the president, it's 15 minutes drive from Asarok, the presidential villa. It's really sad that we don't even, the vice president couldn't even represent the president. At this juncture, Kike, please forgive me if I do not know what to say. For fear of hate speech, I just don't know what to say.
All right, so let me come from the angle of you saying that the vice president should have also represented, but if it wasn't delegated to him, there is no how he will go there and represent the president.
It boils down to saying provisions were not made. Because if provisions were made, he would have been directed to say, go represent the president.
Yes, I agree with you. And it is rather undeserving and unappreciative of the presidency not to be at the funeral of the COAS, you know, and those who lost their lives during the crisis. You know, it's more undignifying, you know, to note that our same president was a former military man who, you know, knew what it means to take, I don't know, is there something wrong with us as a country? Because it's not just about our leaders. I wouldn't want to emphasize much on the criticism of our presidency, but because I want the president to at least have enough time to understand what this backlash means for Nigeria as a whole, whether we like it or not. There are a lot of touchlight from foreign, countries looking at us. We've seen a lot. I forwarded something in our WhatsApp group a few days ago where you just illustrated now about a president from another country under the rain, you know, paying the last respect. You know, it's unfortunate that, you know, our sense of respect, you know, our sense of leadership, our sense of empathy, sympathy to the followers, to those who put you in power, to those who you expect that, you know, you should lead by doing what is necessary at what is needed at the right time. I only pray and hope that our people, those people who are leading us, you know, will continue to, you know, lead us in a way that the youth tomorrow, which we are hoping that they will have a better future, which we are hoping that their character will not be questionable by a lot of us, will not tomorrow get to power and behave the same way. It's so unfortunate.
It's rather unfortunate.
Said it all.
All right.
We still have another trending story.
Okay, let's pick that.
Let's go with our third trending story at this juncture.
Our producer and our technical director are always afraid of me when it comes to trending stories. All right, because they are all saying also. You know, so the third trending story that caught our attention is that of the Nigerians online reacting to the statement made by the richest man in Africa, that is Aliko Dangote, says he's opening a family office in New York City to invest 60% of his assets in the US over the next few years in order to protect his family's wealth in the long term. Marshall, I need to start with you on this. What's your analysis with Aliko Dangote's open statement?
Kike, I'm a broadcast professional and I'm also a businessman.
Okay.
I run several businesses.
Okay.
If I have my way, I will situate my businesses outside the shores of, beyond the shores of this country. Okay, so I don't blame the prolific businessman called Aliko Dangote for choosing to go to another country to, I mean, when you don't have a country that promotes ease of doing business, when you don't have a country that can secure your business, why, when I take my business out, why would you point fingers at me?
True.
I'm sorry, we don't have enough time to go through
yes,
this.
I think I'll buy from your submission to say that the man is wise. He sits with them at the helm of affairs. He sits with them. He walks the corridor. They are the power. So if a wise man like that can tell you that plan B is going to the New York, my dear, have plan B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K.
All right. All right. All right. This is my own submission and my own analysis with it. I would like to fault Dangote. At the same time, yeah, I hear you people. At the same time, I can't blame him. I can't blame him because he has a business empire to protect. He has his interest and that of his unborn generation, so to speak, to also protect. You know, he has a decade of sweet or is it no sweat, you know, to also protect. He has the pedigree of an African richest person to also protect, because you know that position is something worth protecting. But at the same time, you know, you should not forget that you know quite a number of people in the corridor of power, and you are also a stakeholder and an active player in the economy, and also not as in Nigeria but Africa. So his statements may damage and impair the confidence of a lot of foreign investors, the FDI, the perception and the disposition of other great wealth economic players in Africa. I think we should try to, you know, be positive when it comes to the side of the country, which is us observing how we want to present or portray ourselves in terms of negativity, and how we also use our choice, our words, our choice of words, you know, carefully, because there are quite a number of people who are saying that, you know, I want to become another Aliko Dangote in future. When Aliko Dangote is saying that he wants to take more than half of his wealth outside, then that means the future of Real Talk with Kike is not even safe anymore. Don't you think we can also lose our jobs? What are you guys thinking about?
I mean, it's the blunt truth. It's really the blunt truth.
We're out of time.
Let's just go. Aliko,
we're out of time.
With that, we've come
Bring
to
it next time.
All right. Yeah, we will be bringing it into the show. We've come to the end of another episode of Real Talk, and of course, I'm sure our listeners right now have been enjoying a lot of analysis from both ends. And of course, our guest today was very edifying, a personality that at least threw a lot of light when it comes to restructuring, when it comes to a lot of cattle that we've been having challenges on in the last few days, and of course 2023 election, which is on the lips of everybody. I'm thinking that is it 2023 that is going to bring peace to our country. I'm hoping so. I'm praying. I'm with you. All right. Till Thursday, please keep being real, and bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Place and it make everybody they wonder waiting me cause all the shine. Long hair or short doesn't matter. Crochet or dreadlocks can be better. Only for girls we know better.
People know how to make an impression, and that's why they only trust Lush Hair Extensions to bring out the shine in them. Lush Hair, be beautiful.
The Europa League final is here. Who will be crowned the champion as Chico Aze's Villarreal clashes with the Red Devils of Manchester? Enjoy the action live only on Star Times. So, what are you waiting for? Recharge now to watch live on Wednesday, May 26th at 8 p.m. on World Football with just 1,700 naira or 160 naira daily. Oh yes, pay 1,700 naira per month or 160 naira daily to watch all matches. You can't go wrong with Star Times. Get connected for 1,700 naira monthly or via Star Times on app for 1,000 naira monthly. In the battle for glory, who takes the spoils? Don't miss the Europa League final only on Star Times. Recharge now. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Our culture and traditions are the bedrock of who we are as the great people of Nigeria. This June, every Nigerian is invited to a meeting as we go back to our roots for realignment and solutions to our national challenges. The theme is Rediscovering Nigeria's harmony and growth via cultural partnerships. The Nigeria of our dreams is possible. Together, in peace and progress. Attendance of this event is strictly by invitation according to strict COVID-19 protocols, but it will be live streamed on multiple traditional and digital platforms. For sponsorship and inquiries, please call the numbers on your screen. Be part of the Nigerian Royal Summit.
Yesterday is gone forever. Tomorrow is yet to come, and all I have is here and now, and I don't know if I'm doing alright. Oh, I have today to put seed in the ground, 'cause what I sow is what I reap. But train up a child in the way that he should go, 'cause tomorrow depends on it. So mama, papa, think of my tomorrow. My tomorrow is gone.
Deborah, my dear,
forever.
You know how me and your mother, we work very hard to put you in that school.
Yes, Papa, I know.
I want to make you read all your books. Your younger ones are looking up to you. Don't let us down.
Yes, Papa, I will not.
You know I did not go to a secondary school like you did. I want to make you represent me. Make you speak all those big English we are not free speak. Read all your books very well.
Yes.
Make you go find places.
Yes.
All those big places we are not free go. Make you go everywhere.
Yes.
You hear me, my daughter?
Yes, Papa.
Papa,
it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. I've heard you. I'll surely make you proud.
Okay, my dear. But remember what me and your mother have taught you.
Yes, Papa. See, don't worry. See, sure, Papa. Let me not waste your time. Go and work so I can make money for the family. Yeah.
Okay, I trust you. Bye bye.
But take care. Greet Mama. Bye bye.
Yesterday is gone forever. Tomorrow is yet to come.
I miss you too. It's business. Oh, it's age, my daughter. My daughter is age. She's age. I'm aging.
Chief, you're welcome. I'm glad to see you, Chief.
Madam Principal.
You're welcome.
This is busy, as you know. It's so tiring sometimes, but it's so. My daughter, my princess.